I have been using recycling this glass bottle for drinking dreamsicles. And I've been washing it in very hot water, shaking it on the inside, pouring out the hot water, adding more very hot water, and letting it soak until the water is room temperature, and then whenever I'm ready, I'll dump it out. There is what I think is rust on the inside right here. That looks like rust to me. There and there. So I know it says that we should recycle, but I am showing you what is wrong with recycling itself. That looks like a rust stain right there, and I know where it came from. Right there. Is it not coming out on the camera? Okay, well, this is not the camera's money. I can see that, but it's my money. That's the recycling. That's staining of rust right there. I know. What am I to expect? Well, for those of you who are snarking, what am I to expect from recycling a glass bottle with a cap that rusts? I should know I have to throw it out like everyone else because it's trash or garbage. The camera's not focusing. Why not? It's right there. I can see it, and the camera's not focusing. That's angry. Oh, are you looking at the Calypso? Yeah, look over here. Eyes right here. I need the camera focused right here because there's rust. I don't want that in my mouth. It doesn't want to show it. I'm looking at the best I can, and I don't really see it clearly on this camera. That's angry. Well, you want to give me something else because I've been posting that I've been using this glass on YouTube for quite some time now. I've made a number of dreamsicles in this same recycled glass, and nobody does send me anything because this is going to rust. Well, why don't you send it to me? Because I'm not yourself, because you don't owe me any money, because it's not your problem. I know, but you don't send me a glass that I can use for dreamsicles, and I would tell you if I like it or not by if I use it or not, because the cap is going to rust. You didn't do it for Calypso. You didn't do it for the glass itself having a nice cap. So, moving right along. I have another bottle of. But what I really want to drink is, and I'm thirsty right now, I'm ready to drink. I used the plumber's water to clean out this glass bottle, and the plumber did not supply me with something instead because the plumber's water does rust the cap. I've been using the plumber's water uh, very carefully, and I think about him and I send him God's blessings. Uh, I hope, but that's not why I think about him. I think about him because it's due, because he does turn on the water. He turns off the water, but he turns on the water. And that's why I need to say thank God to the plumber and the plumbing that it's working. So that's big. I think it's big. I want to use this one last time and throw it away used, but I can see the rust stains on it right here, and I don't want to. I don't want my mouth over the rust stains. Was it? It could have been like that yesterday. Yeah. And, well, the plumber's water has been used, and it's as clean in there. It's cleaner in here now than maybe some other times I've cleaned it. Yeah, it's clean inside here. But what about, I can't get the rust off. It's underneath the glass. I'm not going to try because it's underneath the glass, what screws on the cap. So it's not going to get any better. So how do we say grace and thank you to the plumber for his water? It's precious. I use a lot of water in my life. I say thank God and thanks to people who do open access to the tap water. So the plumber and the landlording with the plumber, by the plumber, for Fremont Gardens Apartments and etc. beyond. Yeah. So what to drink? I am thirsty. Achshav. Well, I would not give this to the plumber himself to drink out of it. I wouldn't anyway because it's my litter problem, but. So, what do we say? Okay, I'll wait on this. Oh, I'll need to throw this out. What am I gonna? I'm gonna wait on these. They go back in the fridge. Yeah. The plumber, well, he pays out water, I guess, of his own supply. Yeah. Wherever that comes from. Well, moving right along, I would like to say thank God to the homeless condition we are. I went to sleep today after I made a video that was about 1 hour in length, approximately. And I did wake up from sleep late at night. It's past 10 p.m. and I'm awake for the duration of myself because the threatening on the video, I did not post it before I fell asleep unconscious. It's posted now. Processing will begin shortly. The arrow is moving. I don't have the money that is elsewhere's. That I have overlapping threatening. I do find that I have too much karma in the money, and it's not my karma because I don't have threats on myself. That means I didn't ask you for anything. I don't have any threats on myself means I don't actually know you in the money. I don't know you where you get this money to pay a cashier if you're not a bank teller. I don't actually afford that everybody who is not myself, and maybe 1% of you are a bank teller, and then the other 99% of everyone who is not myself is not a bank teller but pays cash out to cashiers with less accounting than a bank teller to a bank and its management. God deceased above myself. Heaven, God deceased above myself, is saying I haven't doesn't have any karma like that. Heaven doesn't have any karma like that before. Say that again. I don't have any karma like that in the money that that myself, the Godhead here, is the Godhead. I am the Godhead, and I am here. I don't have karma with the threatening that I have to pay the bank teller or the cashier the money that it's going to give me to pay for the transaction for the food and everything that I ingest, food, beverages, sometimes medication, but I don't need that now. But I do have skin hives. I don't want. Do I get from the supermarket some kind of a cream for this skin hives that itch? And then I have some scabs from scratching the skin hives. So I can use medication from the store if it's that. But that's the store needing to know that if I ask for a cream for the skin hives that itch, an anti itch cream, the supermarket needs to vacate all of the staff because they are a disease to myself. You can't just say, oh, you have a disease right there on the skin, here's a cream. Yeah, there's something wrong with it. You do that. And there are so many doctors in public who belong in prisons because you don't see a doctor unless you're an inmate in a prison. I have disease in public, and that's your fault. I'm not going to jail for you. I'm not going to prison for you. And I can use the pharmacy because it's not in prison. That's just for me. But what about everybody else who's not myself that's using the pharmacy in public? I don't want to help you with the drugging. You're due to be uncomfortable because you're not in prison. And if you're in prison, you can see a doctor and prejudice about yourself dying out of the need for the doctor to be consulting with you. And you're not himself. Or if you're a doctor to yourself and somebody else finds out about it, you're inside of a prison and you don't tell everyone that you're a doctor, like Dr. Ian Gilson. And we don't know if Lynn Custer's dad is a dentist, which would be a doctor of dentistry, DDS. Avi Domnitz, if you're going to be a doctor, you don't have to go all the way to New Jersey to put furniture in a housing for yourself and stay there because you're in a hurry, because you're not in Wisconsin for any sort of debt to somebody else, and you're not in prison. Okay, you're not in prison. So, but I'm not paying out furniture to you, Avi Domnitz. Maybe you've been graduated from medical school and you're a doctor now. Why aren't you in prison? Are you trying to make money off of being a doctor? You want to establish yourself in residency as a doctor in public. Doctors do in prison. There's no death on the doctor in public. How can you be a doctor in public if there's no death on the doctor in public? You can't see a doctor's not going to die because he has to die is due inside the prison. I'm telling you, this is not my order. This is the order of what Jesus left behind. And he doesn't alive himself here in a penis genital. Shout out to my ex. Hey, look at me now. I'm all the way up and I'm never coming down. I'm all the way up and I'm never falling down. I'm all the way up and you'll never bring me down. Oh, okay. What's the name of the musical group? It's 4 females. One of them is Black Female Adultery. The Mix. It's the reason I found this song is because I looked up on YouTube a search for what does it mean, shout out. Shout out. Yeah, so I looked up shout out search, magnifying glass, find. And then it came up this song, shout out to my ex. Yeah. I am shouted. I heard somebody else shout once. Yeah, I am shouted and I don't remember everything I shouted. It doesn't remember, which is why it's not fair that I have been put in an ambulance for a shout and given involuntary hospitalization. Are you trying to, because you don't put me in jail but you put me in a hospital and run up my medical bills? I already have the medical bills in place. I shouted because you illegally charged me medical bills when you owed me a house. The hospitals illegally hospitalized me before I shouted. It would have been between 2005 and 2010. 2010 is when I shouted the first time. So between years 2005 and 2010, you illegally hospitalized myself, and hospitals billed me medical bills, which I will tell you the first bill I saw was over $400 a night in a hospital. And then after that, I will tell you the interest is it's 1 month's rent per night in a hospital, and that's the interest. So if you put me in a hospital for a month, I have to pay 30 months of money of rent to the hospital in karma, in heaven. So that is what's wrong with the medical billing. You are not supposed to charge me that money. You are supposed to pay out that a house is something, a debt like that. I need the house. How do you expect me to pay a medical bill without a house? So you don't pay out a house when you charge me a medical bill, but you discharge the patients. You keep me if I can't afford to pay. It locks in the hospital, but it won't. And you charge me medical bills, and then you charge me with that I did not pay the medical bills in cash. By that, you don't send me the medical bills anymore. You think that I stole them, but you won't stop involuntary hospitalization and involuntary discharge because you won't empty out the hospital of all the people who eat in front of me in the hospital. And you are charging me 1 month's rent per night stay in the hospital. Every night I stay in a hospital. And I did shout that I know about the money. And you cannot just extort money out of me without that I would be aware of it and die. And that's how I died. I shouted, I died, and I know why. And you put shot injections in myself that you think I don't know what my problem is here and now with you who? In your genitals. You're so outrageous. You belong in prison. If you think God did something wrong in somebody else's genitals, you belong in prison. You don't force a shot of Halidol on myself and make me pay the medical bills. As if there are none. As if I stole the shot of Halidol. You're so outrageous. You put a shot of Halidol in me for shouting and accuse me of that I stole a shot of Halidol syringe. The thing itself. You belong in prison. So everybody who is not myself, do they all in agreement think? With all their different heads. They all look different. They have different ages. Do all the different heads of all the different people all think the same thing? That I am shouted and I don't know what my problem is? Why don't you put the shot of Halidol in somebody else? That's how you don't know what your problem is. And then you know I don't know what my problem is to you in your own sick head. You killed me in the height. You put shots of Halidol in me when you owed me a key to a house, and you killed me in the height anyway. I don't need that my height shrunk. I can afford to be deceased. Do you see how I am shouted over a bottle of lemonade I didn't pay for? Watch me put it up to my mouth and drink it. You can't identify who I am and come up to me with a shot of Halidol and stick it in my backside. Just like I pick up this lemonade, put it in my mouth, and drink it, and it's not up to itself. I will do it because I am myself. It's not up to itself. You eat out of the food in public. The food in public. You eat out of the food in public that way. You do that. You do that with your mouth to the food in public. And I am shouting at you, stay out of my way. Everything is mine to myself. Are you threatening me with neighbors? Are you threatening to arrest me? Are you threatening to put public food in your mouth? And it's not up to itself. There is something wrong with you, and you don't know it. You don't say that to me. Comments are open. Go to prison. I am over this bottle of lemonade and everywhere it came from. And I am over you.